Hiking shoes are one of the most important gear while you hiking in Hawaii. Why? Well, in Hawaii we have all kinds of surfaces, a lot of variety, from lava rocks to muddy jungle and sandy beaches. We have everything, so a great pair of hiking shoes will make a huge difference between struggling or enjoy the hike. Today I want to talk about different kind of hiking shoes, what works where, and what are the best shoes you can buy for different surfaces. Aloha and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Nandor. I'm a hiking guide more than 9 years here in Hawaii. I love trail running, adventuring in the outdoors. At the same time, I love to film my outdoor adventures and I love to make reviews about my favorite gear. So if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing for more upcoming content. Today's topic is one of the biggest questions all the time. People ask, what kind of shoes should I wear when I go hiking in Hawaii? Well, that question is a little bit complicated. Today in this guide I want to walk you guys through from the basics, even talking about Crocs, all the way to like hiking boots and between, and then go through different kind of hiking shoes and see what works and what doesn't work on a Hawaii terrain. Let's start with the simplest way to hike: barefoot. Well, yes, you hear it right, barefoot. Some people just love to hike barefoot. Now, that doesn't mean that you're gonna fly here and you go out on a trail and then you're gonna do 2-3 miles in your barefoot. I bet that the next 7 days on your vacation is gonna be a pain. So you might wanna reconsider that. If you are someone who already walks barefoot for a longer time and you have experience and practice, you can give it a try, but I'm not suggesting hiking in barefoot just because of all the possibilities of getting injured. I would just not suggest that. So maybe you don't want to hike barefoot, but because you are on a tropical island, you are thinking, oh, I would love to have something like a pair of Crocs. Can I hike with a pair of Crocs? Well, the answer is yes and no. Depends where you're going. Yeah, you can basically get away with a pair of Crocs. Look at the bottom, it has some kind of grip, but to tell you the truth, I would not suggest hiking in Crocs just because it's not made for hiking. It's made for walking, you know, on the beach. Wherever you go, you can walk in it, it's comfortable. But hiking requires a more sturdy shoes, which can give you more support, more grip. So no, Crocs are not optimal. So I was up in the mountains recently and I just met this guy from the mainland who was walking in sandals, and I asked him, oh wow, how you like your sandals? He's like, oh, this is pretty great. He was totally muddy, looked like miserable, but you know, he wasn't complaining. But what he said surprised me, because he said that one of the guys from REI actually told him that these are the best footwear for Hawaii hiking. And I was like, no freaking way. Are you kidding me? So people probably have no idea how are the hiking trails in Hawaii. So actually, I had a client about 6-7 years ago, and that was the first time I took someone with the sandals on a hiking tour. And guess what? Well, she slipped in the waterfall, and she didn't realize it in that moment, but 2 weeks later she sent me an email. Oh, Nandor, you remember when I slipped in the fall? I just broke my toe. And I was like, no way. Of course, when you have an open toe box, it's very easy to hit your toes, right? So I have a rule: I never take anyone hiking with sandals. I'm sorry, no sandals and hiking in Hawaii. All right, one step up from a Crocs would be a road running shoe. Road running shoes, I understand, they are comfortable, easy to walk in. People love to use it on the streets. I love it too, don't get me wrong. But when I go to the trail, this is not the optimal shoe. One of the reasons is, just look at the sole. You see the sole? The sole is actually made for road running and not hiking in different terrain. So this can get very slippery, and if you are going out on a waterfall hike where you have muddy, wet rock terrain, it's not gonna work out. It might be comfortable, but you're gonna slip and slide, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna hate it. I'm telling you, you don't want to use road running shoes on that kind of situation. If someone comes and shows up with this kind of shoe on my tours, I would just say, I have to give you a pair of micro spikes, which is basically you put them on. They are these metal spikes, and they help with good traction on muddy or wet rocky terrain. However, I'm not a big fan of micro spikes, so I like to use micro spikes just in like really emergency situations when someone is really struggling. However, when you have a shoe like this, you're constantly gonna struggle on muddy terrain, so you have to use it. We're gonna talk about hybrid shoes. So hybrid shoes, basically road running shoes and trail running shoes in one piece. So this one is a Salomon UltraFlow. It is an actual hybrid shoe. I have a full review about it and I can link it up here if you want to watch it. But just for you to understand why this is better than just regular road running shoes, I will show you. So if you just look at the sole, this side has already deeper soles than this. This is almost flat, this has deeper lugs. These deeper lugs, it's about 3 millimeter, and they already help you grip on muddier, rockier terrain, so they are much better for you. Now, of course, in deeper muddy situation, when you are deep in the jungle and the mud gets much deeper, this will not gonna be enough. You need another shoe, which one we're gonna talk in a moment. This is already a big step up, and if you are coming to Hawaii and you just have place for one pair of shoes and you know you're gonna wanna hike, then I suggest you get something between at least trail runners and road runners, so you can go out, you know, in the city or running, but you can go out hiking too. If you are planning to hike a lot in Hawaii and then you know that you are an intermediate to advanced hiker and you want to do some harder terrain, like some kind of a Kolau ridges or something like that, I suggest you to get something better than this with more lugs, but we get to that in a moment. Just to get you an idea, there are a lot of brands out there who are really good offering some hybrid shoes. I like Salomon, but then you have Hoka. Hoka's offer some good mix between, and then if you look at the lugs and the sole are a little bit different. So it depends what you prefer. If you want a little bit more cushion, or if you want a little bit more feel to the ground, you can choose any of these shoes. Now let's talk about some real hiking shoes. What do I mean by real hiking shoes? Talking about something which has the right grip, it has the right comfort, and it has the right stability to help you go through all the advanced hiking trails or intermediate hiking trails on the island. Doesn't matter if it's muddy or rocky or technical, these shoes will get you through everything. A lot of people in Hawaii love this shoe, especially because of their sole. You can tell that this Salomon SpeedCross actually has like some very deep lugs, and they are perfect for muddy terrain, and a lot of people love this, not just because the lugs, but it's a very comfortable and it's a very protective shoe. It has a lot of overlays on the sides, so it keeps your foot together, you feel comfortable and you feel like ready to attack those hills. The only bad thing about the SpeedCross series is it's very narrow in the front. The toe box is very narrow, so if you have a wider toe box, you wanna buy the wider version of it. I'm not a big fan of SpeedCross, but I love something from Salomon, what it called the ThunderCross. I like even the name better. So the ThunderCross actually offers you much more comfort because it has a more cushion, but at the same time it has a wider toe box, so it is really nice. I love it for hiking, for running. I really like it. If you want to see the full review about this, I can link it up here and you can check it out. Now, if you are not a Salomon fan and you want something really grippy but built even more durable, well, then there is this guy, the Nnormal Tomir 2.0. This shoe is actually a beast of a shoe. Look at the bottom, it has Vibram 5mm lugs. They work really good in muddy conditions, work perfectly fine in any kind of technical terrain. These shoes will last you for a long time. I have another review about this, a full review. I can link it up here, you can check it out. It's a really good shoe and I really like it. Of course, if you don't want any of these brands, there are other brands out there. Even Hoka has the Torrent, the Speed Goat series. They are very good on this terrain. However, I for me, I think Salomon and Nnormal kind of the best on muddy jungle-ish terrain. I love La Sportiva and I use them a lot in dry conditions, but when wet conditions come along, they're just not performing as well as Salomon or Nnormal. Now, after we got through all these trail runners, the question is, what about hiking boots? Nandor, can I use hiking boots while hiking in Hawaii? The answer is yes. However, let's talk a little bit about hiking boots. So I know a lot of you coming from mainland, coming from other mountainous areas, you might think hiking boots is the way to go. Now, hiking boots have some good qualities and some bad qualities. The first, they are really great to support your ankle, right? And then you're gonna feel more confident walking on treacherous terrain, which is kind of true. But if you are using all that ankle support, what's gonna happen, all the muscles around your ankle is gets weak. So of course, when you're gonna put on a trail runner or a low-cut hiking shoes, you're not gonna feel confident enough to walk because you're gonna feel you are a little bit wobbly, you don't have that support. But the truth is, those hiking boots were designed more if you are carrying a heavy backpack. When you're carrying, of course, 40-50 pounds on your back in a technical terrain, using hiking boots is great because it gives you more support with the heavy weight on your back, and then, you know, using hiking poles, it's a great idea. In general, the terrain here, it's very rugged, but at the same time, it's kind of technical too. So you really need your ankle mobility. And ankle mobility is really key here because you're gonna have to climb, you're gonna have to use your hands, you're gonna have to move different way, your legs, your feet is gonna move left and right, up and down. So without ankle mobility, it's gonna be really hard to walk. And you need a more flexible shoe so it can adapt to the ground instead of having that big clunky hiking boots, which is just very stiff. If you love your hiking boots, you can definitely hike with them. But here in Hawaii, I remember when I moved here 9 years ago or 10 years ago, I went out for the first hike. I had the hiking boots and the lady told me, oh, you have hiking boots. You know, in Hawaii, we're using trail runners because you're not gonna need your hiking boots. And I was looking at her weird, it's like, what she's talking about? 2 months later, my hiking boots was gone. I had my first trail runner. Of course, the first month was weird because I didn't feel comfortable enough. But then after, my ankle got stronger, the muscles around the ankle, and now I cannot look back. Wherever I go, even in mountainous areas, Eastern Sierra or Switzerland, on Spain's Rocky Mountains, I always wear trail runners. They are grippy, they are fast, they are light. What I'm not suggesting, buying Gore-Tex waterproof shoes for Hawaii hiking. Why? That's the question, right? Because in your head you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna hike in the jungle, it's gonna be wet, I want a waterproof shoe so it helps me keep my foot dry. Well, you are thinking right, but let's just think about it. I'm telling you, no matter what, when you are in a tropical area, you're gonna sweat a lot in your waterproof shoes. You actually sweat more than the breathable non-waterproof shoes. You're gonna get that inside moisture, you're gonna be evolving blisters way faster. And if you have to do a stream crossing and the water enters in your boots, it's never gonna dry because the waterproof membrane, it does not gonna let out the water. So I highly suggest you guys save your money and don't buy a waterproof Gore-Tex shoes while hiking in Hawaii. I'm gonna put down a link for all the trail shoes I showed you guys today. And if you have any questions, just comment. I will answer whatever I can. Well, I hope this helped you guys a little bit to understand more about the trail running shoes and why they're good for Hawaii, why some of them are not good. And when you guys go out again to buy a pair of shoes, at least now you have more information, and I hope this helped. Thank you for watching and see you guys next time. Aloha.